welcome to Podcast vs. Play, episode 228. I am one of your hosts, Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who won some money on a scratch card and he was going to give it all to charity. But she wasn't dancing that night, so he gave it to Crystal instead.
I like that.
Danny bloody Dan! Hello!
Hello.
No finger guns today.
No, I'm not feeling it.
I'm not feeling them finger guns.
No, I'm still very annoyed that I got incredibly piss wet through yesterday, and the nights are dark, and I was like down to my shirt and socks, piss wet through, with an umbrella and everything. It was just getting folded inside. It was just getting ripped inside and out.
It did absolutely hammer it down.
Yeah, so I'm still kind of not in a great mood about that, to be honest. Because it just drowned little dog shit.
Like you literally just said, though, the nights are getting darker. It's going darker like 4:30 now.
But when did that happen, though? Because like I was just in work, and then it was just like one day it was just like, and now it's night. Like when I was still there, like I didn't see the transition. It's like someone just flicks on a switch earlier.
I think it's just we're so far behind. It's normally like this in like August. It seems to have been very delayed. And last week we had that Indian plume come over, so it was like, I think the highest we got to was like 18 degrees, which is massively unheard of in October.
Yeah, we had like, I think it was like 13 or 14 this week, at some point this week. I can't remember what day it was, but I was just like, it's November.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Like, I don't want the snow and the ice, but it's still too late in the year to still be warm.
Yeah, because
like,
it wasn't sunny. It's not like it looked nice outside. It still looked miserable as fuck. It was just really warm and muggy. But yeah, that's British weather for you. Although technically that was from India, from their little heat wave thing they had going on.
The Indian weather coming over here and stealing all our cold.
I hate the winter though. I hate winter. I don't like being cold. But Dan, speaking of cold, horrible news, Henry Cavill's not Geralt anymore.
Don't think that quite qualifies as cold. But
yeah, it brings shivers to my body.
Okay. Yeah, it's Liam Hemsworth now, isn't it?
Yeah. The lesser known but still pretty known Hemsworth boy.
Yeah. I don't even think if it had been Chris Hemsworth I'd be particularly interested in that either.
Not
There's
really.
a lot of physicality that Henry Cavill has brought to that role. Do you know what I mean? Like to have 4 seasons, of it with him, and then change the whole lead character to somebody totally different. Who obviously, if he's doing his job properly, won't try and like do an impression of Henry Cavill doing Geralt. He'll be his own Geralt.
Not to though, isn't it?
Unless you have a time jump, I guess. If you just go, but it doesn't make any sense because he looks younger.
I was going to say, what's he done? Jump backwards?
Well, potentially. I mean, if they just said, the 5th season's going to be like when he first becomes a witch, I don't know, like 20 years before, maybe. But it'll be one of those things where they'll just ignore it. They'll just be like, no, it's just this guy now. So 4 seasons is a good run to have like a good rated show on Netflix. If I were the showrunners for that, I'd say if we can't keep him because he's too expensive or he doesn't want to do it anymore, we say we're done. Like it's like he's an integral part of that, and to lose him would just be a right kick in the teeth. I reckon.
I'm pretty certain I know the reason why he's not, but I'm not going to delve into it because it's something that you don't know. So I'm going to ignore it completely. But one thing that I'm more skeptical, because he's not a bad actor, Liam Hemsworth. He's all right, but name me
some things he's been in.
The Witcher. I can't honestly think of anything off the top of my head, if I'm honest.
Let's have a little Google, shall we? Because I'm sure that there'll be something I'll be like, oh, I know him from that.
You've definitely seen him in stuff. 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I recognise him, but it's just sort of like, there'll be something that's like, that's what I know him from.
But Henry Cavill championed this for a long time because he's a massive fan of the books and the Witcher games, and that was one of the biggest selling points of this show is it's been made with not necessarily the people directing it, but the lead actor is a massive fan. One thing that I did read that apparently it might not be the reason that I think it is, and it's down to the fact that Cavill wanted to steer it more closer to the books than the games, and
which is sensible.
Yeah, but the studio was like, "You're just an actor. You don't know fucking nothing." Apparently.
Well, I'll be honest, mate. There's only two things from his entire filmography that I recognise him from, and I don't remember him being in either.
What we got?
The Expendables 2 and Independence Day Resurgence.
So maybe some other ones, because I don't know him. I can't recognise him from either of those.
So Neighbours, back in the day.
Maybe.
The Elephant Princess, a music video from Miley Cyrus, The Hunger Games.
That's where I know him from.
Hunger Games, another one, another Hunger Games, and then another Hunger Games.
You know what, Dan? I've got a feeling I'm mistaking him for someone else.
Potentially, mate, because I still recognise his face, but I don't know if it's just because it's also Chris Hemsworth's face. Yeah, I can't differentiate it.
Who would you have? Who would you slap in there if you had a choice? Obviously not Henry Cavill.
Kevin Sorbo. I reckon you could do Kevin Sorbo. Give him the grey hair. He's still got the muscles, kind of.
Isn't he a bit more racist nowadays?
Yeah, he's kind of like Christian fundamentalist, kind of like real right wing, anti-abortion, all that kind of nonsense.
Everything The Witch is all about.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd maybe the guy who plays Dandelion. I'd just say, you've been promoted. You can be Geralt, and we'll get someone else to come in and play the lute.
I mean, maybe it's a chance to. I don't know how people will take it, but you steer it more towards some of your B characters, and the show becomes more about them.
Like they've just done that Vesemir. Well, not just, but they did a Vesemir animated show, didn't they? But I'd say if you're going, okay, well, we're going to have to lose that big pull. Like, you know, all of the other kind of characters have had their moment, and they're interesting in their own right now because of it. But yeah, maybe we focus more on Yen. Maybe we focus more on Triss, because I don't think there's been enough Triss in this, to be honest. Like, like Dandelion, maybe like there's some banging songs that have come out of that show so far.
Yeah, but I don't think that we can make an entire series that's dedicated to him just sat in a room writing music.
I don't know, like just him just getting into trouble and having to climb out of bedroom windows and stuff like that would be quite funny.
What if they turned it into like an American?
You could do a series show, I guess, like just her becoming
Siri would be your kind of no-brainer.
Yeah,
decision.
Like so go, okay, well, Ciri up front, maybe new Geralt to the side, maybe. So he's more of that Vesemir kind of like training mentor coach character rather than it's all about him.
Yeah.
So I'm still gutted about it though. If I had any say in that at all, I'd be like, if we're losing him, we stop.
It's like, obviously a big reason because of how passionate Cavill was about the show.
But I think even if you lost any of the other main characters, that would be a blow, but I don't think it'd be as bad. Like if they recast like Yen or again, which I'm hoping that they obviously have no intention of doing, but if they did, you'd be like, oh well, that's a bit annoying, but it's not going to break the immersion for me because they're only still in it a smaller amount than, than Geralt. But it's about him. It's like you lose him,
entire show.
Yeah, like what if they Stranger Things? They went Millie Bobby Brown. She's not going to be in anymore, so we're going to recast 11. It'd be a fucking riot.
I mean, to be fair, that young girl they had who played young 11 in the last season on the flashbacks.
Oh, when they put the AI face.
Yeah, that worked really well. That worked very well. So could technically do the same thing.
It's pretty cool.
It's So it's just a lot younger. But it's like if they recast Butcher or Homelander. It would. I don't care who you put in there; it would ruin it.
Yeah, like you've grown used to, and you like that person portraying it.
Yeah.
Like, and plus you'd have to have the exact same kind of physicality. Like you'd need to get fucking shredded. Like the only reason that Henry Cavill was that big was because of playing Superman.
Yeah.
Like he's not that big playing Sherlock fucking Holmes, is he?
And Man from U.N.C.L.E. and
yeah, exactly. But and Fallout, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's a big lad. So you'd have to remake every one of his costumes to make sure that they're more appropriate for his size.
Yeah, because he's a big chap.
But that's always been the case in the books and the games as well. He's a shredded dude, like big, burly, shredded dude.
But it's not like Superman or Homeland or anything like that, where they can pad out your suit and give you fake looking like realistic fake muscles. Can't do that.
Everyone wants them to be shirtless. That's what they want. They want him in a little blouse or strip him off and pop him in a bath.
Yeah.
If you can do the wooden bath scene and you look like Geralt, you're on board.
How much do you reckon it would have cost to just keep quiet and Liam Hemsworth does get
not tell anyone?
yeah. So like he still gets he's still casting everything, but they do deep fake Cavill onto him. So Cavill's like, I'll let you do it. They can't do it with a mustache, let alone an entire fucking face for an entire season. They could barely do it with She-Hulk, and that's got Disney money behind it. That's true. That'd be funny though. I did like the video that lad did, where obviously in thingy they CGI'd his mustache off, and then someone did a video of all the clips where he CGI'd it back on again.
I bet it looks flawless as well.
It works.
Yeah. Have you got anyone that you would have replaced him with?
Not really. There's a couple that I think would do a decent job, but they wouldn't do it.
Jack Black.
Yeah, Jack Black would be a surefire hit, I think. I think I'd probably be okay with that, just because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they'd be like, do you know what? That's so much of a change.
Yeah, and it's
he won't be recognisable. That'd be fine.
And that's a proper jump forward in time. Geralt's like 6,000 years old now.
He's been eating nothing but ham and cheese for the last 150 years.
Or we do this, and they do cast Jack Black, and then we finally see him, and he's just got fucking hench as fuck.
I'd hate that day. The day that Jack Black just was like, I'm giving up the weed, I'm giving up all the junk food or whatever. He's gonna Kevin Smith it.
Yeah.
He's just gonna lose like 50 kilos and just put it all back on again in absolute muscle. Everyone would be like, "Oh, Jack Black, what happened?"
Yeah, but it wouldn't. I don't know if I'd like. I don't know. I think it'd ruin it because one of the good things, not the good things. One of the biggest pulls of someone like Jack Black is the crazy uncle that anybody could have, and they're just dead fun and whatnot.
It's the Jim Carrey factor, isn't it? It's just the maniacal bouncing about, unlimited energy.
But even him though, when he plays Stars and Stripes in Kick-Ass 2, he got a little bit bulked up for that, and he just looks weird.
Yeah, but he's like lean, buff.
Yeah, because he's quite tall. He's like 6 something, isn't he? 6 foot something. Jim Carrey. He's quite a tall chap, but he's always been tall and lanky. That's just what his thing is. And then as he's got a bit older, and it's good to like get healthy and whatnot, but it was just a very odd visual to have, just because I've never seen him like that before. Same as Paul Rudd though, and he got shredded for Ant-Man. He'd never been. He wasn't like. He was always just slim. Chris Pratt is probably the far better example, where he went to, because everyone was just like in his Parks and Recs days, and it was fat Chris Pratt. He wasn't fat. He was just normal. But
I think he was Pawnee normal.
Yeah. But to go from the size and shape that he was to what he is now was a massive transformation. Even Tobey Maguire in the first Spider-Man. That's because he got proper shredded. But
that was legit, wasn't it? Like he's before the bite, after the bite. That was his body before and after, wasn't it? It was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I sent you a picture before we started.
Oh, I did see that.
Of some news.
Explain that, because I don't really understand.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. So I did look into it. I will.
Do you want to first say what the fuck that is?
I will, but what I was doing, Dan, I was just kind of like just buffing a little bit while I pull up the article. So basically, I saw on IGN that the quote, the headline was, Disney's live action Hercules will be inspired by TikTok. and I don't understand how that works. However, upon looking into it...
He's going to get up and do a little dance?
Well, I'm guessing it's going to be something to do with pop culture. So it might not even be saying like Athens or something, which I'm more concerned about. But do you know who's directing it?
A live-action Hercules? No. I
didn't know at all. I knew they were doing a live-action Hercules, but I didn't know who was directing it until this article. Joe and Anthony Russo.
Now, that's not one thing that I would have liked them to have been doing, if I'm honest. Although they've got that Disney heritage now.
They have, but I can see them doing a good Hercules film because they're good at story, they're good at action, and
but we've got a good fucking Hercules film.
Well, yeah, it's a remake of that.
Hercules,
but it's not live action, is it? Maybe if they CGI'd Cavill's head onto Hercules in the cartoon.
But yeah, I mean, are there any casting announcements yet? No, nothing. I suppose we haven't even got to Little Mermaid yet, to be honest.
It just says, in an interview with Variety, the Russo brothers acknowledged criticisms of some of the recent Disney remakes, notably on how safe these adaptations play out with little deviation from the original films.
Sorry, have you seen fucking Mulan?
Yeah, it's not great.
Mulan's one of the closest, like from the actual story that it's.
That's what. But that's what they're saying. They're the same films.
No, but that's what I mean. Mulan isn't the same film. No, Mulan's closer to the.
It's closer to the original story. The original story it's closer to, but I think that's only because they didn't want to do like Mushu and stuff as little talking characters and whatnot. I mean, I don't hate the live action ones, but have you watched Pinocchio?
I watched about 15 minutes of Pinocchio.
It's not great. But no, I don't like the cartoon though either, so I hadn't got high hopes.
Well, I haven't watched Dumbo. I haven't watched.
I think that's the only one I haven't watched.
I've watched The Lion King. I've seen Aladdin. Not great fans of either. Same as The Jungle Book. I was just
Jungle Book was alright.
It's fine, but it's. I mean, Bill Murray was obviously. It's good to see him in anything.
Casting was alright.
But even some of the older ones like Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella, I haven't seen any of those either.
Beauty and the Beast is fine. The Beast I hate because he looks like a goat. Looks stupid. But if you like the cartoon, you'll like the film. But there's no.
Oh wait, they like Lady and the Tramp as well. I haven't seen that.
No, and that was like one of the big pulls for Disney Plus because it was like a Disney Plus.
It was the thingy, opening. Yeah, it was like it was dropping on Disney Plus, wasn't it?
Well, I was more interested, mainly because the dog they chose was a real shelter dog. I don't know if it was the producers or someone who was part of the film. They went and adopted the dog and then used it in the movie. But he looked like a grey Jasper. And I was like, awesome! And then I've still to this day never watched it. So.
Yeah, no. Me either. Like, there's things like, there's ones where I'm just sort of like, oh, don't do that one. Like,
The Little Mermaid.
Lilo and Stitch. Don't do that.
That's on the
like,
cards.
The Incredibles. Do that, and then at the end of it, they all tear their costumes open. They all have a 4 on the thing, and they go, bang! That was actually an MCU film. That
was a Fantastic Four joke, people.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Like Moana, I think it's way too soon to be doing a live action thing for Moana.
But they will though, because of The Rock.
I'll tell you what the next one will be.
Hercules.
No, I mean like the next one to be announced. Pocahontas. I reckon that'll be the next one.
So again, I wasn't a fan of the.
Do you know what? It's been about 20 years since I've seen that. I probably do need to.
I remember the song.
Watch that.
That's which one? All the Colours of the Wind.
Oh, it's like right around the river bend. That one.
I know. I remember literally that line I just said.
All right.
Like, something, Colours of the Wind.
Yeah, and she's got like a raccoon that's a mate or something.
Yeah, and another thing could be a bird. There's a raccoon or something else. I remember having a raccoon from a Happy Meal.
Right.
Like a toy, not that there wasn't one in it.
Yeah, an actual raccoon. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I not particularly like. I really like Hercules. I watched that again not too long ago because that's got some banging little songs in that as well. Like the sort of the what they call the like soul singers that are like they're doing all like these sort of like hype songs, the muses. Like all of that is great.
Meg's hot as hell as well.
Yeah, she's pretty hot. Yeah. And Hades is insane. Yeah. Like he's such a good villain. Like, how do you get someone to come in and just do that? Like, have that kind of again that like presence and.
Are they going to get Danny DeVito in? That's the biggest question everyone should be asking.
Was it Danny DeVito that did the voice?
Yeah.
Hades?
No, not as Hades. He played the trainer, Hercules' trainer.
Oh, fucking yeah, Phil. To be fair, if he was just sort of like, look, if you just put me in like a wheelchair and just wheel me around, and then you can CG like the goat part in, I'll do that. Because then you could have him doing little skips and dances or whatever, because he hasn't actually got to do it.
That'd be great. I mean, to be fair, still.
They did it with fucking Will Smith and the Genie, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was like, we need your face and we'll animate the rest of it.
Well, I actually saw a clip the other day, weirdly enough, of Aladdin, and like the big dance thingy for Friend Like Me. He did all the dancing and all the jumping and everything.
Who, Will Smith?
Yeah, he's got like all the mocap.
Yeah, they kept on trying to sweep him off the stage to be like, no, you're not physically here. You're like 50 feet tall, mate.
Anyway, but it said acknowledged criticisms of some of the recent Disney remakes, notably on how safe these adaptations play out with little deviation from the original films. When speaking about their vision, Joe Russo says their Hercules remake is a little more experimental in tone and execution.
Hercules is a sex pest.
The collaboration with director Guy Ritchie. Now,
so he's a Herculean gangster?
This is going to be like Disney Snatch. The movie Snatch, not...
I was going to say, please clarify.
Thinking of.
Yeah. Lock, stock, and two smoking clay pots or discuses or something. I don't know.
Oh, this is a typical IGN headline.
Go on.
So I've seen what. So what did we say it was? Disney's live-action Hercules will be inspired by TikTok. So it says. I've just seen the quote. Audiences today have been trained by TikTok, right? Russo asked Variety. What is their expectations of what that musical looks like and feels like? That can be a lot of fun and help us to push the boundaries a little bit on how you execute a modern musical. So it's not inspired by TikTok, it's inspired by modern music.
Or like...
Calls.
That's not a good thing, I'd say.
No, but what I'm saying is this isn't going to be inspired by TikTok, which is what the headline said it was.
Yeah, like it's a found footage thing on someone's fucking Snapchat.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Hercules like Cloverfield. But it's Hercules just like battering that Hydra. I tell you what, him fighting the Hydra and just chopping off 1,000 heads. Like,
they need to God of War it.
Oh, imagine if they went, we're just, instead of it just be, although like the sort of like the training stuff is like that's insane. Like when he goes from like John Krasinski, Jim, Hercules to like Jack Reacher, John Krasinski, Hercules, where he's just like massive and buff.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? How do you have just like a skinny dude? You'd have to like Chris Evans.
I was going to say they'd just do what they did in Captain America and Black Adam. They did it as well.
Oh, have they done it in that, have they?
Chris Evans shows up in that. It's pretty
but
if you Captain America.
Yeah, because like this, like the whole like sort of like first half of that film is him like with his parents and that.
Yeah.
Bucky, and then like he's still insanely strong, and then it's only after he meets Phil, and then they have like a cool training montage. Then he's shredded, and then he's off sort of like doing hero stuff.
Yeah.
But then who
are you going to get to play?
I was going to say, that's what I was going to say. Like, who do you see doing that? Maybe a Zac Efron kind of like gorgeous, absolute shredded dude.
Nah.
And he can sing.
Well, he can't though, can he? Because he mimed High School Musical.
Oh, did he? Well, you just get the guy whoever sang for him, get him to do the VO.
They already work together, so I'm on multiple
projects.
So.
Yeah, he's already... They got like that lip sync synchronicity.
Rumour is it's going to be Liam Hemsworth.
Until Henry Cavill steps in and goes, actually, no, it's going to be me. Yeah.
I was just scanning through to see if there was any rumour, but there's no rumour as to who it's going to be.
Yeah.
I know he's an odd... The art style for Hercules is quite odd. It's very cartoony, whereas something like...
It's Grecian based though, isn't it?
But that's what I mean. I think you're going to struggle to find someone that looks like this Hercules. Maybe it will be Kevin Sorbo.
I mean, he's played it before. He knows
he knows the drill.
He knows all the lore on that. He knows how to swing a sword.
I always bring it up, but that scene from Andromeda still gets me when he's got that trunk in his quarters and he's got a blonde wig and a sword. That's such genius writing. But yeah, so it's not inspired by TikTok, it's inspired by modern musicals. So, I mean, I can't think of any one less expected than Guy Ritchie.
I mean, I'm more excited to see what new animated stuff, like, so that's Planet Outer Space, whatever it is, the
Strange World,
that's the one. Yeah, like that looks like it's going to be really quite cool.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. The Jake Gyllenhaal one.
Yeah. But then, like, what's next? What's the next?
There's another Pixar movie, isn't there?
Is there?
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called. We actually talked about it a couple of weeks ago when we was doing those Disney quizzes, and we stumbled across it.
Socks.
No, it looks very similar.
Talking socks.
It looks very similar to Inside Out, that kind of movie.
Oh, aren't they doing a sequel to that?
It could even be a sequel. I honestly can't
I think
remember.
I saw something about it was a sequel to that where Riley's like, it's where, because she was like 13 or something like that in Inside Out, wasn't she?
I wasn't a massive fan of Inside Out, I'll be honest.
I think it's quite clever, and like I think the music is quite good. Like, there's no songs in it, but I mean, like, the musical numbers and stuff are quite good. But I think this one was like, I don't know if this is just like a theory or like potentially or whatever, or if it's actually what's happening, but it's like when she's like 18 and she's like becoming, like, she's just having to deal with like hormones and depression, and like her parents are getting divorced, like, do you know what I mean? So there's like a lot more difficult stuff going on in her life other than just, I've got to move house, boo. Like, it's like some more serious stuff. So potentially, like, kids who are that kind of age when Inside Out came out, potentially they're about the age where maybe they're getting affected by the same kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's fine. Like, it's a sequel. I'm totally fine with that. But I don't want. I want a new thing.
What? I was going to say what kind of film, but that's hard to say.
Lightyear 2. Give me that.
I don't think they'll revisit it. I enjoyed Lightyear, but it didn't review very well, did it?
Well, it's only because people are like, lesbians were.
No, I think it was good, but I think it would have worked better as a series.
I don't think you'd be able to get the budget to make it look as good as it did.
No, it looked amazing. It looked. I enjoyed it. I've watched it
next level stuff.
Twice I've watched it.
I was actually planning on I'm off tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday next week, so I've got 5 days off. I'm with you for a couple of those, but I was actually planning on watching Lightyear this weekend. To be fair, I might watch it on the train.
You could just watch it on the way. It's about the same length of time, isn't it? Well, no.
It's like just over an hour, so maybe like on the way there and on the way back. Yeah.
It's no, I think I really enjoyed it. It's same with everything, didn't get reviewed well. Like I said before, obviously I'm not going to talk about it, but Black Adam critically has been reviewed really poorly. Audience score's been very, very, it's like 90-something% audience score.
Because people are idiots.
No, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not.
Yeah, but you're an idiot.
It's not amazing, but it's good. It's good. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's better than Love and Thunder.
Well, what isn't these days?
Aladdin live action.
It's already out.
No, you said what isn't better than Love and Thunder.
Oh right, yeah. I mean, I like the. I do like the Friend Like Me, like
the film's
sort of
fine.
like spectacle dance musical number. I thought that was great, and like the Prince Ali stuff. I thought like in the cartoon it was really cool, but it's just sort of like it's spectacular, but you've also just drawn it.
Yeah.
Like to get like all those people doing like all dances, and it just that was actually quite impressive. It's like quite a cool thing, but like some of the more modern, like especially like the Pixar stuff, like Encanto and Turning Red. Like Turning Red's amazing.
Very good film.
Like I don't want in 15 years' time to say we're doing a Turning Red live action.
Live action.
It's just like it's perfectly fine as it is. There's no need to go back and do these. I get it when Snow White was made nearly 100 years ago.
But we haven't done a live action one of them.
No, but that's what I mean. If they said we're doing Snow White now,
stuff like that makes sense.
Sure. But to go, we're doing Lilo and Stitch, we're doing Pocahontas. Like we're starting to step into the you're nearly crossing like the 2000 barrier. Like still like Little Mermaid was like 92, something like that, was it? Like 93? Yeah,
because Beauty and the Beast was 96.
Yeah, so. And then we've had Mulan, we've had Lion King, which again, they're all sort of like mid-90s. So like Pocahontas would make sense. And then we're getting like that Disenchanted, like that Enchanted sequel.
Yeah.
The Amy Adams, James Masters, there's a sequel to that, so it's alright. But yeah, I just want Pixar to just go, we've got a brand new project coming out, it's going to be great.
They definitely will. Have you watched the Avatar trailer that came out yesterday?
I've never really understood the insane level of hype for Avatar, and I'm not particularly interested in this one. Like, I'll see it, I'm not going to the cinema to see it.
I'll watch it, and I will watch it at the cinema because Zoe loves Avatar, but I'm of the same thing as you, where like the first one's fine, it's okay, but like we watched the trailer yesterday, Zoe like it finished, and so I was like, that looks amazing, and I was like, it looks fine, and it looks okay, but the thing with Avatar when it came out, when the first one came out, story's very it's just a rip-off of Dances with Wolves, and it's well made, and it looked amazing. It looked visually type, wow, this has never been done before. But now that doesn't work anymore. Like on his own, Thanos looks better than all of the Na'vi animation wise. Like he looks so realistic, and he shouldn't, but he does because it's animated extremely well. These just look like better versions of Avatar 1. It doesn't help that every time I see them, I can just see Elise from Funhouse.
What, in that shit blue makeup and the leotards? Yeah.
Jake.
I'd see the first time I watched Avatar, it was, again, I didn't go to the cinema to see it. I watched some absolute dog shit copy online. So it was all sort of like, I know, piracy, right? It was just grainy, and like the audio wasn't great, so I didn't have the visuals to like do sort of like wave hand stuff, so I could be like confused and not just focus on what people are talking about. And then when I saw it afterwards, I was like, oh, this does actually look really quite nice, but I've already been scolded by it. I'm just sort of like it wasn't enough of an interesting enough story to make me go, I have to see some more of that. I want to know what else is going on with the lore. It's just sort of like it's like a tech demo. It's like look at all the incredible shit but there's no substance to it whatsoever. So I'm not hyped about it at all. Which, to be fair, might work in my favour, because when I do see a decent version of it, I might be like, wow, that was
really good.
I prefer that one way more than the first one.
I hope so, because there's going to be 7 of them.
So they say, but they've also been saying that for about 15 years.
Yeah, it's not this long to get a sequel. I actually went to the cinema twice to see Avatar. Me and Zoe went.
Because you fell asleep the first time?
No, we went to see it, and then literally like a few days later, my dad and that wanted to go and see it, so we went as well. Had a blast.
I don't think I've ever been to the cinema to watch anything twice, ever.
I think I definitely have, but I can't think of what it was. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it that much. I'm looking forward to the movie more than the mobile game that keep getting advertised. But yeah, it's it might be really good, but I think going into it with low expectations is a much better. I can see Zoe coming out and going, "Well, that was dog shit," because she's got so excited about it, and then it's going to be disappointed, or it's going to be excellent, one or the other. No in between.
Yeah,
not with films like this.
No.
That's all I've got, to be honest. There's nothing really happened. God of War is bought and everything. I just can't play it till next Wednesday.
Next 11th, isn't
it? It's something like that. Whatever.
9th or something.
Let's have a look.
Doesn't matter.
10th.
It's not out now. That's the important thing.
The 9th. It is the 9th. So that's all done. Pre-ready, pre-bought, pre-installed, pre-come.
Well, give it a year, mate, and I'll be joining you in that absolute masterpiece, I'm sure.
It's. I saw a kind of funny. I've been doing these like mini reviews where they just go, "It's 6 out of 10. I like this bit about it, and I like the graphics on it, and I like this, and then that's it." And they're just like very, very quick Instagram clips. And Greg Miller did his for God of War. Obviously, it doesn't go into any spoilers or anything, but this is based on obviously a pre-release copy, and he's put in, I think it's 26 hours, and he hasn't done any other side quests or anything.
I'm pretty sure I've got a few bits left to do. It's mainly just sort of like going around and collecting and that kind of stuff. On the first God of War, I've forgotten how to spell because I can't find it.
I think I've got the last Valkyrie still to do.
Oh, I think I've got a couple of Valkyries probably. Yeah, the ones that are just I'm like I can't. I've rage quit out because of those Valkyries. 35 and a half hours I played that for. So there's still a bit to go on that. But I'd say that was. I think I got that for like 32, 34 quid maybe. CD Keys, sponsor of the show. Thanks, guys. And I haven't regretted a single pound of that.
No.
Like the whole thing was just sort of like this game's. I played it very briefly when it came out, and I'm absolutely definitely looking forward to this next one.
100%.
But I'm also glad that there's going to be a big old gap between it coming out and it being released on PC, because anything that someone mentions or I see on a post somewhere,
you'll forget
when it comes out on PC. I'd have forgotten all of that. So it'll all be brand new and it'll all be awesome. But I did see today that apparently, like, because we talked about this the other day, but there's the Sackboy,
Sackboy's Big Adventure.
Yeah, apparently not doing very well.
Is it not?
No.
Is it not optimized well or anything?
I'm not sure if it's that or if it's just people are just sort of like, oh, boo. But it's because if you look at the quality of what's come out recently, that are part of like the PlayStation crossover into PC world. Not PC world, but you know what I mean. It's just sort of. I'm going to see if I can find you the Steam.
It's a great game.
Maybe it's, but you could be right because like I've sent you the issues that I've been having with Uncharted.
Yeah.
Like that is, it's completely, it breaks the immersion. Like when everyone's just sort of talking, and then they just like freeze into a position, and then just like hover around the scene or whatever. There was an update. It was like some sort of patch that popped up the other day. However, Callum, it has not done anything as far as I can tell. Anyway, so I'm a little bit.
Do you think it's on purpose? And they're just going, well, best buy PS5.
If they're doing it, it's not working because if anything, it just makes me hate them more. Is it called Sackboy?
Sackboy's
Big Adventure. There it is. So at the moment it's got very positive, so there's only 227 reviews on Steam, but it's 88% rated. Let's have a look at a couple of the first ones. I'd pay double for Little Big Planet 2, brilliant. Love Little Big Planet, blah 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 blah, that's finally a bad one. Game now requires you to link to an Epic game. That's not a complaint, shut up.
That's just like every Epic game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's mainly, I'll change this review to positive when the devs remove the Epic install. That's not a complaint, you wankers, right? So potentially, I saw like an IGN clickbait poster. It's just like, boo! All the PlayStation shit's ruined now because of Little Big Planet. Probably just nonsense.
And it seems
but
to
apparently
just be...
there are still...
No, I was going to say, it seems to just be that people don't like Epic.
But that's also... how's that the game's fault?
That's what I mean. It's irrelevant because the game's real good. Yeah. I really like it. You can play it tomorrow.
I'll see if it's worth. I'll see if it's worth buying then. Yeah, because I definitely had like Little Big Planet 1 for the PlayStation 3.
I've had all of them, even the Vita and the PSP Little Big Planets, and this is completely different.
PSP. Sorry, that's what I had it for. I may very well still have it in a drawer behind me, if that's the case.
I really like Little Big Planet, and it didn't quite deliver on the creation side of it, but
that was the whole drive of it, wasn't it? It was like you could make maps.
Yeah, which you could. It wasn't a lie, but not like you can make in Fortnite or what you can make in even Disney Infinity. You could make far more like nuanced levels and stuff, but it was very limited even for the time when it came out. But it was good, and I liked it. I spent a lot of money on the PlayStation Store buying all the Marvel outfits for Sackboy. And I mean a lot of money.
Yeah.
But this is a Mario Sackboy game.
Well, I did see that Mario Party and Mario Party 2 have just been added onto Nintendo Switch Online as well. So I was having a little go on Mario Party, original Mario Party, by the way, like the N64 one. Man alive, like the new Mario Party. I mean, I'm sure that this is a very obvious thing to say, but it's so much fucking better. Like the original is fine, but it's clearly just like
the new one is the N64 one, isn't it? The newest Mario Party is a remake of all the N64 maps.
Well, I don't know about maps and stuff, but I played
boards. Sorry, not maps.
Presumably it's just the latest one that came out, I guess. Is it just called Mario Party but for the Switch?
No, you got Mario Party. I actually can't remember. I can go and have it's in the cupboard over there. But the Mario Party, which we bought for Logan, and then there was this. He was like, there's a new Mario Party came out. I want to say last year, maybe, but it's like £65 again. But it's the N64 game, just with those boards instead.
It could be that. Either way, though, whichever one it was, it's like, this is taking. I mean, this is what Nintendo do to a T, and for the most part, it's annoyed me for about 20 years. But they just take the same thing that they've done, and then they just go, "Here's the same thing again. All the money, please." And everyone's like, "Sure."
I mean,
there you go.
That's me.
Exactly.
Not this time.
You're the reason there's no originality.
I didn't buy it with. I didn't do it with Mario Party. Right. I was at that time, so you got Mario Party at home.
Oh right, yeah. And now he's got the original one, so he doesn't need another one anyway.
I bought him in N64, so.
But at least one of the things that I did see from there is that there's still a lot more PlayStation exclusives to come over to PC as well. So even if there is some truth behind that, and this Little Big Planet doesn't do as well, it's also going up against things like God of War and Uncharted, and presumably The Last of Us when that comes out. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a close competition.
No, but it's also God of War and Uncharted are much closer games than God of War and Sackboy's Big Adventure is. Like, realistically, I can't imagine the PC community going, you know what I really fancy playing? A platformer. I can't imagine there's a massive percentage of people that are just hankering for some jumping.
But there's a million versions of that on Steam and whatever.
It's what
anyway.
I mean. There's nothing you can't get elsewhere. It's just... And some of the stuff utilises the DualSense 5 controller, which you're not going to be able to do.
With I think it was Uncharted, wasn't it, that had the same functionality that's been removed, like the Lost Legacy and...
No, because they're PS4 games.
No, Spider-Man Remastered. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because that's the same thing. It's got certain functions that have been taken out. But then there's but it makes me think that the next one is probably going to be The Last of Us remaster. That's probably going to be the next tentpole, I reckon. Especially with like the HBO release of the new show.
Yeah,
that's only going to just sort of.
They'd be daft not to release the game.
Not tie it in necessarily, but they'd be. Yeah, I mean, like the PS5 remake of the first one. I mean, I would prefer it if they double packed it, but if they've got any sense, they'll be like, "You're lucky you're getting anything, so you can buy them both separately. Thank you very much."
They'll do the first one.
I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that.
Plus, you've already played and finished Last of Us, so that's not a. It's not like you're super missing out because it was one of the few PS3 games you went and bought.
Yeah, like when it came out, when I bought it. Yeah.
I remember installing it at the same time and being on the phone like, right, look at the curtain blowing.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
But
and now it's just sort of like, oh fucking hell, 95 gig I've got to install. For God's sake.
It was good. I mean, they'll definitely do it, but it'll be here's Last of Us remastered. The first one with
but again I don't mind that.
DLC.
Well, to be fair, what do you reckon first though? Do you reckon Miles Morales is out?
No, because that's out this month.
Is it this? Yeah, I was gonna say it's this month, isn't it?
Last of Us will be.
Oh yeah, no, there hasn't been another Spider-Man yet, has there?
No. The second one's
I was just trying to think of. Yeah, but I'm trying to think of something that was out about that kind of time, about 3 or 4 years ago, that could fill the gap before Last of Us comes out.
I don't know, because you've already had Days Gone.
Yeah.
Which I'd say is
Ghosts. Or maybe it's a bit too early for Ghosts, maybe.
But I mean, some of the stuff that you're getting is already on the PlayStation Plus service. So the odds are, if you look through the list of what's on there, there'll be a good indication.
Clearly, then Sony isn't interested in making money off it anymore. If they're like, just take it for free.
Yeah. But God of War's on there, Spider-Man's on there, Miles Morales is on there, Days Gone is on there. All these games. I don't think Little Big Planet is, but Sackboy rather. But if they're already giving it away for free, not for free, but a very small monthly cost, then I think those are the ones that you'll be looking at. So if Death Stranding was a PlayStation exclusive, that would be a good contender for the next one because that's on that service. Obviously, it's already on Game Pass, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of quality and caliber where it's just sort of like
they're not.
It's the ones that if they did like a PS5 mini, they'd be releasing God of War and Uncharted and whatever on that. So it's the big draws.
The benefit for PC gamers is that we can
mod the shit out of
that
it
as well, but I can almost guarantee, obviously I don't speak on behalf of Sony, but I can almost guarantee every game that does get ported, not saying it'll be ported well, but every game that does get ported over will be of Uncharted, God of War, Horizon, Spider-Man type quality, because it's still
those are the ones that you would
it's a showcase.
Make you go and buy the console.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If they put out a subpar game there's a better, not the same game obviously, but a better version of it. So say like your Mario and your Sonics, we'll say Mario's Xbox and Sonic's PlayStation. If Sony put their Sonic game on PC and you just go, well, I could just play this Mario, which is fucking way better. They're going to want to put their fucking absolute creme de la creme out there, and it's good.
I'll tell you what though, like playing Uncharted, when it actually fucking works, it's just the cutscenes that don't work. Like the gameplay is like it preset itself to ultra, which I thought would be a bit of a stretch, given my card. But I tell you what, the like puzzle solving, like the actual like tomb raiding side of things, Tomb Raider does so much better. It's still, I think it's very much still like this like Indiana Jones, Tomb Raider, and then they kind of built off each other from that point. But like the character interactions and like the whole story driving element of it, there's little to nothing I play that's as like I'm just sort of like, oh, why is this not the film that we got?
100%.
Like everyone is so like they play together so well. Is it Nolan North and Troy Baker who are Sam and Nate?
Yeah.
You can fucking tell that they know each other because you can tell that they were just mocapped up and they were just acting in a room together. It's so natural. And like, because Lara's mainly like a survivor, so she's just sort of killing people more than like talking to anyone apart from mate Jonah.
You get more invested with the Uncharted crew.
Yeah, and I mean, it's because it's also not as expansive as well. Like, I know exactly what you mean now. Like when you're saying like it feels like it's an open world when it's actually really not.
Yeah.
Like you're still very guided in the path that you have to take. Whereas like Rise and Shadow are just more sort of like there's like a whole shit ton to do. Just go out and hunt and craft and do whatever you want. And you know, like there's like a really intricate, cool puzzles and stuff. And there's like some of the interesting puzzle stuff that's in Uncharted is really good. But it's also not particularly difficult.
They're not.
It's just sort of like there's a symbol and there's a symbol and there's a symbol and match and done. There you go. It's and that side of it, like the actual like again, that's what Tomb Raider seems to have focused in on. They were like, and this one's got 30 tombs to go in, and you're just like, oh my god, what's this one going to be? You've got to do an explosion that triggers a thing and then fight or whatever, and like it's a whole like set piece within itself. And then they kind of like have just like the survival element that's built around like the cool tombs. Yeah. Whereas it seems like it's the opposite for Uncharted. It's like story and plot and location, and then it's just sort of like interspersed with like puzzly bits.
Yeah, it's
like, and there's far too much convenient platforming for my liking. Like every building has an exact way of climbing up to just, and like, no one in 400 years has ever climbed up before. Bollocks. I don't buy it.
They've never found that sword there before ever.
No, nonsense, absolute nonsense.
Nah, I would. I don't know what circumstances have arisen where this ultimatum happens, but it's like you can play Tomb Raider or you can play Uncharted. I pick Uncharted every single time, just because I love the series. But that you can tell Naughty Dog want to make movies, stories based stuff, and it's more apparent with The Last of Us. But the stepping stones are there, even with like the original, like your Crash Bandicoots and stuff weren't the same kind of platformers as Sonic and Mario and stuff. They were putting not so much story things, but like making it more about the character. And here's a far better villain than everything else. And I don't know, like Last of Us is very much not an interactive movie in the same vein as like Heavy Rain and stuff like that. Like there's a fully fledged game there. It's everything's cinematic, and even down to stuff like you reach for to climb up and it breaks, and you're like, whoa! And
there's a lot of that, like, and I really like it because I've seen it about. At this point, it's not to the point where I'm just sort of expecting it, but there's like clearly there's a path that's laid out, and it's like there's a white stone here and there's a white stone there, and then you go, and then it just all falls apart, and you fall down, and you're sort of like, oh, so it doesn't look like it just ended there and you had to fall. It looked like you were supposed to carry on, and then that just happened unexpectedly.
It just happened.
That I really like, because it's just sort of, there's so many times I'll be like, oh shit, like I haven't expected something to break away, or the things that do.
Yeah.
Like even like doing like the winch on the car, and like you walk around a tree and then hook it back on. I'm just like, there are so many games where you would just walk up to the tree and you just hold X and then it would just winch itself up. And like because it just felt more natural to just, rather than just go up, and it was sort of like, oh, you go around it, oh, that's so clever. Again, it's like a 5-year-old game at this point, but there's not many things that it's not just an interact button that just completes the task that you're supposed to do, rather than, and then you've got to go and unclick it to
once you're done.
But then you've got like a magic fucking hook that you can just throw on while you're falling off a building, and you can still hook yourself and swing onto it. Yeah, sure. Without turning yourself into pate every time you swing too fast and hit a rock. Yeah, of course.
But yeah, you have to suspend a little bit of disbelief.
Yeah, for sure. But that's the thing. Like, there's so many like cool, like, we've destroyed another ancient build. Like, every time that they just sort of like, oh, can everyone just put their guns down? This is like 600 years old. No one's been in there. Like, can everyone just have a little bit more respect? They're all supposed to be fucking archaeologists and like historians and stuff. Can everyone just, like, you know, like when Jackie Chan's like fighting in a room that's full of like expensive shit, and he's like trying to catch everything.
Yeah.
I want that, man. I don't want him just like exploding like a whole bunch of shit. I want like Nate running around just like trying to save a painting from everyone shooting at him.
Maybe that's what we should have had then. Instead of Tom Holland, we should have had Jackie Chan.
I would have, if they'd have gone, we're doing an Uncharted movie, I'd be like, for fuck's sake, we don't need it. And then Jackie Chan's playing Nathan Drake. I'd be like, I'm back in.
Jack Black as Sully.
Yeah, sure. I mean, no one's going to be worse than Mark fucking Wahlberg.
Why didn't they get John Cleese?
John Cleese? Nah. It's like, because at least Sully still has actiony stuff that he does. He's like, he's a shadow of his former self, but he's still capable and he's very charming and he can get through. Also, Nadine, like the South African, when you get into I'm just going to talk about Uncharted 4 now that I'm actually playing it, and it's awesome. When you fall, like you're in that like black market auction thing, and like she jumps you, and you have that fight, and she absolutely fucking leathers you. And then like you have her again, it's like you and Sam, you're like, oh come on then, and she just wipes you out. I was just like, oh my god, is this my new actual favourite character? Well, like she just takes those heels off and she just wipes him out like he's nothing.
That's one of the reasons why I think Nathan is such a good leading character, is because he's massively flawed and he's just lucky. He's obviously he's very smart, and he's up to date with history and this that, and the other, and he's obviously he can look after himself, and he can shoot people to fuck, but he's not actually trained in any of this stuff. It's just all learnt, and then to go against somebody who is trained, he is going to get bad. Same as if she went up against Lara, she'd batter Lara as well. Lara's probably more likely to murder her given the chance, but
she'd find a candlestick and beat her head in with it, or but you put them both out in the jungle. I know who my money on's to come out of that situation in one piece.
But put them in a library.
Man, I was just like, am I supposed to be able to beat her? Because every punch miss, in the ribs, everyone. Oh, kick me in the face now. Like, it was like fighting Batman. I was just like, oh, this is what it's like to be the bad guy. Like, every punch just misses. It's like she was just spamming Y in Arkham City. Like, she's just dodging everything, and she just wipes you out. And I was just like, I kind of want a spin-off game that's just her.
But you mean you can't...
Like, just running around, just battering people?
I assume you've seen the cover for Lost Legacy on the double pack.
No, it's just Uncharted and Sully and...
Do you get... It's not a spoiler or anything, but you get more of her, anyway.
Oh, thank God. Okay, well, that's cool.
Is
she a character?
It's not a spoiler. You play as Chloe, you don't play as Nadine, but it's... Looking at Uncharted 4, majority is about Nate, Sam, and Sully. That's your bulk of 4. Lost Legacy is Nadine and Chloe.
Oh, that's such a cool pairing.
Yeah. It's a good game, I like it, but it is, again...
Yeah, I can't actually wait to get stuck into that one.
But Lost Legacy is Miles Morales.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man is Uncharted 4. It's just standalone DLC. The map's not the same map, but you can tell obviously they've just moved some trees around and some buildings and stuff. But I liked it. I thought it was very, very good. And it didn't come out, it wasn't like 60 quid when it came out. So yeah,
they're pricing appropriately as well.
But it's a full game. It's not as long as 4, but it's pretty decent. It took me months.
Well, I'd say there's easily a couple of playthroughs on this.
Yeah, you get some good unlockables as well, so you can wear like the tuxedo and stuff in the jungle if you want.
Well, I'd just like the cutscenes to work at the moment, to be honest, before I start worrying about unlocking shit.
I don't know if you remember, Dan. I didn't forget at all. We did a live swell last week on podcast 227 about James Corden and how much of an absolute dickhead he is. And we've had a couple of replies, which we're not gonna play them this second, but you will be hearing them as a viewer now.
Absolutely not. He was wrong as 2 left shoes. And he should be embarrassed, and he should be held accountable, and he should not be allowed, although he apologized, he should not be allowed back into that restaurant because there was no justification for his behavior. It was none. You cannot justify it. And although the owner believes in second chances, at some point, you don't give people a second chance. He did it twice. And the only reason, probably, why he apologized, because it went public. And people were like, oh, no, you're behaving the nice guy? Not the nice guy. No, the one that, all these celebrities want to be karaoke in the car and how he, the coffee person. Yeah. It's called acting. It's called a facade.
So, you've just heard them. The power of recording, and we've just left another swell. I think we're going to start doing. We're not going to do one on this episode, but I think we'll start doing this.
No, I was just going to say you are going to do one.
We are going to do one on this episode.
Yeah, and I'm telling you what the question is going to be.
Okay.
Callum. Because our first story of the day was obviously about this Hercules TikTok, whatever the fuck the article was supposed to be about. Obviously, we're getting a Little Mermaid live action, and we're going to get Hercules live action.
Yeah.
What is everyone's thoughts on the next live action adaptation? Do we know what it's going to be? Do people have a suggestion for what they would like to see? Something along those lines.
I probably should have just put my phone to my headphone and just recorded you doing that.
Well, I prefer to see you stumble over it 3 times and then try and get some semblance of what I said.
That never happens. We don't edit anything on this show. So, right, we're on here now. We're on Swell this very second. So, here we go. Hello, we are doing another Swell. We are currently recording Podcast versus Player, episode 228. And today's question is based on something that Dan and I discussed at the beginning of this week's episode, namely Disney live-action remakes. We've obviously got the upcoming Little Mermaid remake, as well as a little bit of news on Hercules, the live-action remake of the animated classic. What animated movies would you like to see turned into live-action remakes? And are there any that you don't want to see? Let us know. I'll be eternally honest, Dan. I got to Hercules and I forgot what you'd actually said.
It'll do. It's fine.
That's going up. I'll do all the tags and stuff in a minute.
Indeed. So if you have swell and you'd like to re-swell, or whatever the terminology is for replying
just reply to us.
A particular swell, a swole.
A swole. If you want to get swollen,
yeah. Then drop us a voice message,
and we'll play it on the episode.
An answering machine. Yeah, exactly. Well, you'll get a bit of a bloody shout out, and your opinion will probably be on there as well, unless we disagree with it. In which case,
we'll probably just won't use it. Well, thank you apologies to the people we've just played, but I didn't catch your names, and I've already closed.
But thank you for your opinions and your comments. Always nice to hear from people.
It is always. But we're gonna leave it there, Dan. So if you wanna check out more, head to podcastversusplayer.com. You can actually access Swell through our website as well. But yeah, there's lots of other stuff: podcasts, let's plays, game shows, reviews, including the latest review that has gone up of the Moano DM30 cardioid condenser microphone. That is available now for you to peruse, whether you watch the video or you read the review. It is much appreciated. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Dan, see you later. Bye.